Ati for the show from Obibiara Emwa Josa Makwaba about daily update TV. So in case and I will share and I subscribe I'm a YouTube channel now or notification bell so oh yeah sound 10 the videos ever to YouTube and more let watch Belgium 10 be on boring because daily update here Juma Edison ya T4 and Yasha 4 10 be no na EDNSC a year Asiedu Nketiah we are no mere press conference waka samba kuminu bi na assemby okan ya ebia antwa wasum ene se na okama meji Mensa ho asem ne ye na odedi na afi pa no gbanya brama no o se ye nkan kire ji Mensa se absolutely na ono no ka se o amese o mo e wo iPark ni ade also answer ba no cho me se o mo be Oppōṣė e de no be Oppōṣė against ye nyine nim se ji Mensa de ni enwuma bi agwa kwama wase election time obepo ono no Mensa oba je only Mensa nkwa na wala with political party Mensa na o ka kire ne say eye 3 p.m. or 3 p.m. o si ye sorry tie for fancheme na chese me ye mic ni ye kakra mo fancheme ye pa na o si 3 p.m. or pa je say wayi closing time every 5 p.m. na about 3 p.m. no ono no eye omo NDC national chairman odianin of they will post against it because Mensa ye mama Mensa ebeye electoral commission since obey electoral commission ne manye normal na wasa kan biem kan enema SCC president enema SCC about our election Mensa mo mrekra Nketiah national chairman na yemfa eye ye comment no and share comment section na young comrade name to ankomodidi ni so
emphasis home that we are opposed to the closure of votes at 3 p.m. There are other issues. For instance, ensuring secured printing of quality and accurate ballot papers and electoral materials like collation and summary sheets. When collation sheets, normally referred in our election as pink sheets, are made available to some political parties, the intention is for them to prepare and program election results and seek to swap these pre-programmed pink sheets with the genuine pink sheets that have been generated as a result of the elections. The solution is to declare the pink sheets security material the same way as ballot papers are, so that we can all track the distribution and movement of pink sheets. And we can all assure ourselves that the pink sheets that will be used in the elections conform to the laws that govern the elections. There's the issue of restoring missing names in the voters register in our strongholds, including K2 South in the voter region. And the issue of resolving late arrival of electoral material and delayed voting. You see what is being planned. They are bringing the closure of votes to 3 p.m. and yet they are not working on they will be having 3 hours to vote, because if they arrive at 12, and the voting is closing at 3. That's a way of cutting off those other strongholds where majority of the voters are urban residents, and electoral material can arrive on time. So if anybody tells you that electoral commission has nothing to do to facilitate the victory of political parties in elections, they don't know about elections. And we have opened our eyes. We will ensure that these manipulations stop. We have the issue of seeing to transparency in the electoral process throughout to deal with. When there is registration, or there's going to be registration, all political parties verify that the people who are eligible for registration, the number of people is taken from the, Ghana Statistical Service. They have the constitutional mandate to count Ghanaians. It is not the Electoral Commission. So when they tell you that people who are 18 years and above, who are of electoral age, you take it hook, line, and sinker. Your duty is to make sure that such people are registered. You don't generate data and begin to determine your targets based on guesswork. Then after that, political parties should be furnished with ballot printing statistics. If you don't have the statistics for ballot printing, how do you monitor the printing of ballots? We struggled for this in vain. It wasn't provided. And that was what opened the loophole for 1 million and over ballot papers to be printed and used to manipulate the elections. For now, let's thank you for coming. But for emphasis, let me state that the integrity deficit in the voters' register and possible breakdown of the BVDs during elections make the use of indelible ink absolutely indispensable. I wish you all Happy New Year, and may God bless our homeland.
And tell us, because you know why he's afraid to do that.
So, CSOs, leadership of faith-based organizations, traditional authorities, if a criminal is rewarded, how do you prevent crime? So we still have enough time for the criminals to be identified and dealt with, so that it will give assurance to the good citizens to realize that it pays to be a good citizen. And that is the surest way of ensuring that there is peace in this country. And we can reduce the incidence of electoral violence. It is not the other way around, where criminals who are involved in using violence and thuggery to compromise our elections are rewarded with political positions and appointments. Everybody will want to be a criminal so that they can enjoy the rewards of being a criminal. The criminal case of this wrongful printing of 1 million extra ballot papers is still in the hands of the police for over 3 years. And to add insult to injuries, the Electoral Commission continues to use the services of such printing firms. What are we encouraging? Criminal conduct. Now we turn our attention to insecurity and intimidation of voters. Insecurity continues to plague our elections. One would have thought that after the killing of 8 Ghanaians in 2020, which was preceded by the Ayawaso West Wogon by-election mayhem, the MPP government and its members would desist from fomenting violence during elections. But as usual, ladies and gentlemen, you trust MPP at your own peril. For instance, on 19 December 2023, in the Dompim electoral area in Takwan Suayim, in the district level elections, which are supposed to be non-partisan, MPP thugs invaded the collation center to disrupt the process just because the MPP aligned aspirant was clearly losing the elections. Likewise, at Abofu Presby Park in Greater Accra, MPP thugs fired guns just because an MPP preferred candidate was losing elections. The least said about Honorable Afenyo Markin's conduct in Winneba district, the better. Absolutely nothing so far has happened to any of these perpetrators. What are we encouraging? Bad conduct and violence in the next election. Ladies and gentlemen, we in NDC will not tolerate a repeat of the 2020 election-related violence and murders. This being the case, we urge all security actors to remain professional for the good of our dear country, Ghana. Now I turn my attention to the return to IPAC by the NDC. Mrs. Jean Mensa, our dear sister, says they miss NDC's contributions at the inter-party advisory committee meetings. Tell her that we miss the ideas she espoused while serving at the Institute of Economic Affairs. Sometimes we ask, what has happened to all the pro-democracy ideas the IEA churned out under the leadership of our dear sister? Yes, I would say she's my dear sister because I worked with her for close to 10 years. But I realized that The IE version of the Mensa is different from the Electoral Commission version of the Mensa. Our sister Jane should not allow Akufo-Addo and Bawumia to destroy the opportunity the 2024 elections present for her to redeem herself and to salvage the little image left of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. Already, there is an uneasy calm brewing among the Electoral Commission workers themselves. The worsening working conditions of EC staff is leading to low morale. But we trust that we can work together for the good of our motherland and build a better Ghana, a better Electoral Commission for them all as Kenyans. We hope our return to the IPAC will be mutually and nationally beneficial. The National Peace Council has met the Electoral Commission and our good selves in the NDC. We have stated clearly our concerns that needs to be addressed. Hopefully, in the spirit of this new year, the NDC will hear favorably from the National Peace Council to signal our eventual return to the Inter-Party Advisory Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, we strongly and unconditionally call for a special program to replace lost voter ID cards in the areas affected by flood in the Volta Basin. This was an avoidable humanitarian crisis occasioned by mismanagement of the dams on the Volta River. The victims have suffered enough of this government's neglect. And we should not add insults to injuries by disenfranchising them in the upcoming elections. Additionally, the NDC has discovered serious discrepancies between the final voters register the Electoral Commission issued out to political parties prior to the 2020 elections, based upon which ballot papers were printed and the actual on the one side, and the actual register used on the day of voting in selected polling stations in certain constituencies. In other words, to selected polling stations with inflated voter numbers.
Atiefo na ahwefo me say ma akwa about the Oba Daily Update TV, so in case any na o hwe na wa subscribe na wa share. Ye be din koma for Electoral Commission ho. Electoral Commission ya ma meje Mensa ne ye ne dwumadi a odi a enso ani anase eni kwan se oye. Ye be sha ase abobɔ ni nyina so from time a IPAC meeting eye NDC for NDC as a National Democratic Congress no eja ko. Ene say Abraham NDC for ejai IPAC meeting ko nyina ne say Emma meje Mensa and maybe not Electoral Commission or my press conference or my mixi NDC they are firing. Now on the speech na 18 and as a general chairman sitting Nketiah Kasano or say Mensa Abraham mo IPAC meeting or mo committee no inter-party communary like different parties na meeting na or mo to adwene to ensure peace and stability in our voting system and as in the Electoral Commission. Na so omoko na omo to adwen Mensa no onye na adwen se obefa do omoka no se enam so ma emre bi kura no ye be ye nyina be kaya Mensa ene Asiedu Nketiah nya banta bi jezo munya akasakasa bi nyina so ka ho bi na ensem bebre betwa gu free Mensa akache since from a year limited registration voting exercise ho any problem nyina sha se free aye maame e ka se onjai na or registration of uncle electoral area said the be nipa dodo na benye bre anase ahiafo anase awimfo ma ominiska omanya 18 years no omo beje bre na omo so akọ anante akọ register ye kan ya akwaje ho injunction nyina electoral commission because that time no kon office wa soldiers for atuturi di na wonti wonhu Mensa no wa petition na injunction impo a prevail no na eno no na nchen oye sa dwumadi no okudie na dwumadi foforo a esa betwa gu ye ne se eye indelible ink ya de nyina nim se to aba yes ana chama ga they opposite they should tell Mensa they will oppose it because this year election no there Mensa mo try because NDC they really mean power it is indelible ink ya to aberia eno no ye ahyansude bi a e kire se obentin asimesi wakwa akoto na ba woni hu kwan so okoto be aside a machine verification because with even with machine verification and with the exclusion of indelible ink more now can still find way to go and vote and it was say yes sir the jumadi ni nyina obe review omo pen they will never accept it na ye twaso a osabe man nkra se ye nka nkyere ne se Mensa nkomo ne be enkra nkyere ne se eye closing time e to aba akane titititi nyina ya to aba afarija mo time ye pon 5 o'clock Mensa nkwase ye be pon 3 p.m. because the entire NDC for any abri nyina ne se samia wukuni amanfo bia be ka se omo be use strategy a break 8 obeya de akura na nka man hye otirim nyame ompe bone ana omo so be kan enti ato NDC for so tirim ye papa omo so afom ho adwen wosa ensem no se 5 p.m. na ye pon hwie be wo close ye dey about 3 p.m. wasi ye ntone nkra eno so dey oppose against eno obeka IPAC meeting so honsem said na yesi so no the internet NDC for unko IPAC meeting and ye ne eye suban bi o dead wo ho no entwe it doesn't go well. I daily update TV so mama mo nka ene subscribe share for comment no ma tem bia boring ye adwuma e de sum ye tie for na ahwefo nti na ahwe ya na wagibre na so subscribe na wa share na ojo agin kire na ahwe abran komodin eti Mensa 2024 o say NDC for conference and as a speech I see the Nketiah Oppōṣė this year election e peaceful or say Oppōṣė e peaceful because e speech na no mana and some near or kikana or Oppōṣė said the electoral commission should behave. They should conduct themselves well against this 2024 election because this 2024 election there the destiny of the people no ekita Mensa it you know said the amount for a mini a change if they try anything like rigging the election for a year and NPP to break the 8 hour. Well, we are not calling for doom, but you know the citizen Ghanaians now they actually need a change. They need a change. They are not even they need a change. They are opting for Mahama. They just need a change from this NPP government. Whoever comes doesn't really bothers them, but they just actually want to be free from a Akufo-Addo government. And you know the speech was jeering towards Mensa or see encounter into Mensa unkra and I say unkra to NIA national chairman for Democratic Congress NDC Asiedu Nketiah honorable general mosquito bakope or de ato unkra nti ye so say ye take for na daily update ye do besia na yasa kwa babim.